Hi, I'm Brooke Chelma. I'm a director here on the product team here at Exabeam, and I'd like to share with you a lot about what we're doing here at Exabeam and how we can provide future-proof threat detection and SOC management to our customers around the world. So with that being said, Exabeam is best at uncovering unknown threats that a lot of people just can't find or can't find quick enough. These are threats that some solutions typically will miss because maybe there's threats at different OSI layers that different security tools can inspect, such as layer 7, etc. So over the next few minutes here, I'm going to show with you how Exabeam UEBA works. So first off, with a lot of my customers that I've known for years, CISOs and other senior leaders from the network as well as within the SOC, they're reporting a high level of burnout. And according to the statistics that we see out there today, 84% of cybersecurity professionals are reporting burnout. A big contributor to that is not only the tedium of the work, but just the overall alert volume and how difficult it can be to just deal with all of that kind of mess that comes in here. According to the statistics that we see, 62% of alerts are being ignored. There's more alerts coming in because AI-driven attacks are on the rise. It's much easier and quicker to produce enterprise-grade malware, even for targeted accounts, than it was ever before. As a result, 77% of our CISOs out there today are fearing that a breach will end their careers. Fundamentally, we've looked to SIMs as being a silver bullet to help us solve a lot of these things, bring things together, unify the picture, show us all the things that are happening at all the different OSI layers. But in reality, we don't know always if we have the logs we need or if we have too much. So it's roughly a 60% log visibility gap that we're seeing here due to that overload. So that being said, Exabeam has been designed from the ground up to be a solution to these problems. Exabeam was founded to solve the problems in the SOC as well as the caveats of other SIM providers to truly make something special and different for our customers. At the time of this recording, we are only one of 6 leaders in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and that is because of our AI-driven platform that combines UEBA, SIM, SOAR, and TDIR. We offer the quickest time to value that detects threats faster and drastically improves life in the SOC. Our behavioral analytics distinguishes between normal and abnormal behavior, giving you that dynamic threat protection that you need. Furthermore, we take an outcomes-based approach with our Outcomes Navigator tool, where you can track the performance against MITRE ATT&CK TTPs and 21 use cases to see how well you are performing in those categories. And not only that, but we've added an agentic AI to that called Exabeam Nova that you can actually converse with to improve your threat protection, to improve your security posture over time, and eventually drive down to where you need to be as an organization to keep yourselves safe. Furthermore, it's a very easy platform to use without requiring advanced skills. In fact, the whole goal of this platform is to help give a Tier 1 analyst the power of a Tier 3 analyst. Easy to use. Furthermore, because of that UEBA engine, we're producing 60% fewer alerts because we're only surfacing what really matters and less false positives. We're able to detect identity-based attacks up to 90% faster. And overall, customers have reported a lower total cost of ownership by 35%. And like I mentioned before, Exabeam Nova, this agentic AI, when fully used, can reduce the analyst workload by up to 80%. And we'll discuss that a little bit more later. Now, not talking about Exabeam specifically, but just talking about the concept of UEBA and how this works. So let's consider a real-life attack using the Lapis attack. While traditional tools trigger only after damage is underway, UEBA detects that threat from the very first logon, well before privilege escalation, lateral movement, or even data exfiltration. When you take a look at how these different tools perform and where they detect this type of an attack, you would see even, next generation EDR tools, wonderful, essential in this world today. We're not going to throw a stone at them, but there is still a lag behind when things can be detected. That's when UEBA really comes in here to really detect a lot of things before other things can actually detect them and score them strong enough to actually take an action either with a playbook or to alert an analyst to actually address the situation. So with that being said, UEBA itself, a very powerful tool, essential in today's world today. But you would see here now, when you compare how Exabeam performs with the UEBA, as opposed to more of a rule-based system, you'll see that while many vendors provide, and they combine things together, we're the only one who really combines that rule-based architecture, again, which is great for pre-filtering and a lot of things like that, but having that dynamic protection with static protection really makes Exabeam very unique. With the UEBA, we baseline normal and abnormal user behavior, and we're tracking every action over time. And then by using AI and machine learning, we compare new user activity against that baseline. This is a fundamentally different approach than traditional correlation rules or even logic trees. So when you just look at this comparison here on the screen, you'll see that UEBA, our UEBA, deploys faster. It doesn't rely on dozens and dozens of rules. And for an insider threat use case, a rules-based system may need between 30 to 50 different individual rules per use case. Now, when you multiply that across your environment, you've got hundreds of rules to build, tune, and ultimately maintain. Our UEBA, by contrast, is automatic, hands-free threat detection. One point of clarification here, correlation engines and rule-based systems are not inherently bad. Okay? With the right set of rules and tuning, they can be very effective. But the power of Exabeam here is that dual engine approach. So we have that correlation engine, but we also have that behavioral detection engine, which is why you see in security today the combining of static and dynamic protections. Your firewall with sandboxing, antivirus with EDR, a good example of this, right? But when you combine these two with us, you have the Cadillac of threat detection. Rules plus analytics give higher fidelity detections. It catches more threats, delivers fewer false positives, as I've mentioned before. It's designed for today's threats. But more importantly, it's going to provide future-proof threat detection as attack techniques become more sophisticated and as we start seeing more and new things coming through AI-generated attack streams and threat vectors. So let me share with you something here on the screen. This comes from a real security alert from a real customer. I love this one because in the beginning, day zero, their EDR caught something. The IT team, they managed it, they re-imaged the machine. Okay, all's done and dusted. But again, this comes from a large payroll giant. This is a real story. So everything seemed fine. When they actually got Exabeam into the environment and allowed for its AI to train on the environment and baseline normal from abnormal behavior, they found that they had that this malware actually had accessed 47 additional assets. This chilling discovery really brought the truth to their eyes on how UEBA technology can really make a difference. Okay, again, the EDR did what it was supposed to do, but it can't always see past the endpoint, even with an XDR. But question is, how is that? We see a lot of marketing from EDR vendors. Again, that was my previous life as well. But I'll share this with you, is that keep in mind, malware is not just designed to infect a single entity. This isn't 2015. In the last 10 years, they've learned to try to go into multiple networks, multiple devices, create the largest victim possible, especially when it comes to ransomware. With that said, it's designed to spread rapidly, very quickly, just like SamSam ransomware, NotPetya, WannaCry, etc. It's designed to go to multiple networks, devices, ultimately to gain the maximum exposure to the environment, but also infect as many things as possible, like I said. Now, endpoint security solutions are quite limited sometimes. Again, they're good at identifying patient zero, but very limited in the ability to detect all the systems or accounts or even all the things happening at different OSI layers at any given time. So how did Exabeam help? Exabeam session data models are designed to show full connectivity of all the devices, all the users, all the accounts, and depends on the log data you have, all the different OSI layers as well, to ultimately bring on-demand traceability to malicious activity when it surfaces. This matters because context is everything in cybersecurity. By providing a complete picture of an alert, Exabeam reduces the investigation time and improves detection accuracy. This ultimately lightens the load of the SOC. But again, one of the first things you're going to do, especially in the case of a malware event, is to see what happened before and after. For example, how did it get in? Did they take anything? Did they move laterally to other networks, infect other devices? Did they create back doors for reentry? These are things that a lot of EDRs and XDRs really can't test or examine. Did they leave behind Cobalt Strike beacons? So the Exabeam Smart Timeline that was given to the customer, it gives immediate visibility of everything that happened during that time. According to NEC Australia, this feature alone reduced their menial tasks for their SOC analysts by 30%, ultimately helping to reduce that analyst burnout. It also contributed to that reduction, that 35% reduction in total cost of ownership that NEC Australia had reported, which you can find on our website, that case study. So again, ultimately, it provides unparalleled visibility into the alert. Unlike Microsoft Sentinel's fragmented data views or Google Chronicle's limited correlation capabilities. So now let's take a look at Exabeam Nova, our agentic AI, that 6 different agents that are put into Exabeam itself. The truth is Exabeam has always been an AI company. We've pioneered machine learning based detections over the last decade or so. In fact, our Common Information Model, also called SIM, is purpose-built for machine learning to deliver only the best detections, to really summarize things and reduce those false positives. On top of that, we've added generative AI in the front end and agentic AI in the middle, meaning that our AI can actually take action, not just provide suggestions or summarize the findings that come from the logs. Exabeam Nova is our AI agent. It behaves like a SOC analyst. It triages alerts. It groups detections. It assigns multi-layered risk scoring across all the alerts and all the cases. And it also automatically generates cases and the titles that give you that very quick summary of what they think is going on so you can react faster or prepare mentally to go into that case. From hundreds of customer interviews, we know analysts spend the most time on triage and writing reports. Exabeam Nova dramatically reduces both of these. It collects evidence, writes investigation summaries, and can boost analyst productivity by up to 80%. Because it assumes the analyst persona and executes on the manual tasks on behalf of the human analyst. So with that said, I invite you to go and sign up for a demo today. Get a view of this yourself and see if either the full platform is right for you or adding the insider threat detection through UEBA from Exabeam can augment your existing SIM infrastructure. So again, my name is Brooke Chelma from the product team here, and I wish you the best.